Hi there. House of the Dragon Season 2 wrapped principal photography last week, on last day of September, concluding a filming shoot that had begun in early April. Well, they're going to come back for reshoots because of the strike and everything, but that's interior stuff. This is the end of exterior filming where we get spy photos. So I put together this video as a guide to all of the exterior filming locations. Or I was going to, but I realized the only thing that really made sense was to make a guide to filming locations in Wales, because that's the only region where they did multiple locations within it, compared to Season 1. Season 1, they mostly filmed, the southern warm weather shoot in Spain was using Caceres for King's Landing, which had been King's Landing for a little bit since Season 7 of Game of Thrones, but also some nearby towns, and they also filmed in Portugal, up at Monsanto, up in the mountains, but they didn't go back to Portugal this year, because they said all the Dragonstone mountain exteriors they used for that, they had to get there by helicopter. Logistically, it was very difficult, so they're not going back to Portugal, and they found different locations for that. And even the Spain locations were very limited in Season 2 to just Caceres. And there were basically 3 phases to Season 2 filming. That the first phase was just the Spain shoot, which was just Caceres itself. And the local fans like Losiet Reynos, Yavi Marcos, all those wonderful people, they can make like a street-by-street breakdown for local tourists of what they were filming within Caceres, but for our purposes, it's Caceres. If I made a map that was showing the scale of Spain to Wales, you wouldn't see anything, and it's not really worth it because it's one city, right? As for the northern group filming, the home group filming, they do a lot of stuff at Leavesden Studios, which is just north of London, but that's interior stuff or on their backlots, not location stuff. Season 1, they did a lot of filming in Cornwall on the beaches. They didn't go back to Cornwall this year. I don't think there were really any major... there were a few beach scenes that they shifted to Wales. They need to go to Cornwall again. We're not seeing the exteriors of Driftmark again, I guess because they didn't have the funeral. It wasn't really worth it. And they didn't go back to northern England. They used this famous valley in a quarry in Derbyshire to film Daemon killing Rhea Royce, plus, for some reason, parts of the Dragon Pit, I guess, but they didn't do any of that. In contrast, there were 2 exterior locations that recurred in Season 2. There was Caceres and Bourne Wood, this large forest in Surrey, England, which is in southeast England. It's near Kent, but, well, no, it's northwest of that, but that's where they filmed the Kingswood hunt in episode 3. And it's a big forest, but it's a modular forest. I mean, it's what Game of Thrones did with Castle Ward and Tollymore Forest in County Antrim, Northern Ireland. That a generic field, open field in Westeros was Castle Ward's grounds. And like they have the Stark army camp, and they'd redress the same field for the Lannister army camp. And Tollymore Forest was pretty much any forest you saw, with rare exception when they wanted like a specific row of trees. Tollymore Forest was any given forest in most of Westeros, usually. That basically Bourne Wood is the new Tollymore Forest. And they were filming a lot of stuff in there. They were filming the Battle of Rook's Rest in the Crownlands. They were filming Golden Tooth in the entrance from the Westerlands to the Riverlands. They were filming stuff in the north at Winterfell on the Wall in Bourne Wood, but it wouldn't make sense to include it in a combined map because it was one place in Surrey they were doing. So we got Caceres, just the city, and Bourne Wood. It only justified making a detailed map for the big new filming location, Wales, which they didn't film in during Season 1. So I've mentioned Caceres and Bourne Wood. That's out of the way just in the preamble. This is my guide to all of the complex exterior locations, by which I mean Wales. So if we have set spies and stuff, we got great set spy reports from Caceres because it's a city. We got a lot of footage from Bourne Wood because it's public. They can't lock people out. But I put together this guide to all of the major filming locations in Wales. It increasingly looks like this show, and indeed this franchise, will be using Wales as its main exterior base. Wales, Caceres, and Bournewood. Bournewood is the forest, Wales is everything else. From fields to beaches to particularly mountains. So for this and other franchises, they're going to be using that extensively. It makes sense for us to familiarize ourselves with it. That this is going to be the new home base, just as Northern Ireland used to be. So I do write-ups on, like, the Northern Ireland shoots. I go, these are the different counties, this is where it is. I did this in wiki write-ups. Here, I already did the wiki write-up on all the Welsh locations. Now I'm presenting it as a video for general consumption on what were the Wales locations. And this isn't a season outline. This is paired with the Season 2 outline, which I prepared and which will be following right after this. This is to give you the context of, okay, this place was blatantly Dragonstone, but this other place, we know a battle was filmed there, but we couldn't tell which one it was. So this is to give you more context for the outline. That part of the outline is going things we saw in spy photos, but we're less certain about exactly what they were filming there. And also to help give a boost to Welsh tourism, because we want to work hand in glove with them. So that's the preamble. Next section here. Keeping in mind that this show will be using Wales for at least 5 years, and this franchise might be using it for another decade or more, we should get a handle on notoriously difficult Welsh pronunciation.